Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we're talking about what happens when we have the moon placed in wow, I was way off today, in Sagittarius, in the ninth house for the Aries ascendant. And, you know, a lot of people comment on my videos and say, oh, I'm a Sagittarius ascendant, or, oh, I'm a whatever, and the ascendant that I'm saying for that particular video is not lining up. Well, there's a reason for that. I am teaching Vedic astrology. You are probably looking at your Western chart. There's a big difference. Western astrology is off by 24 degrees. So, I would highly recommend looking at the Vedic placements because those are true and accurate, and they reflect the actual physical placements of the planets in the sky at the time of your birth, and not just some random calculation. So, without further ado, if you are interested in Vedic astrology with a report, or sorry, if you're interested in a Vedic astrology reading from me, then you can go to my website, gebotheshaman.com. That's Gebo, theshaman.com, just like my website, or just like my channel name down there. And you can purchase a reading. Also, I offer all these amazing products and courses and services and all that stuff, including my astrology certification course. This is a course designed to certify you in doing astrology readings in the style that I do them. And I have, all I get every day, all day, every day from my astrology clients is amazing testimonials of, how, impressed they are with my work and how my work has helped to shift them into a more harmonious and desirable, and everything from mental state to, understanding about themselves to, getting them the proper mantra and ritual and things like that. And, all these are benefits. So, if you're interested in anything like that, then you can go to my website, gebotheshaman.com. And I also have, as I said before, my astrology certification course there, and all these amazing products there, or courses, products, services. So yeah, let's get into it though. So today we're talking about Moon in Sagittarius in the ninth house for Aries ascendant. Now, before we get into this, we need to kind of examine each different placement here, each energy. So when you have Moon in, in Sagittarius in the ninth house, there's three different energies at play. We have the Moon's energy, we have Sagittarius energy, we have the ninth house energy, and so we need to examine each of those to come up with our predictions, conclusions, things like that. So, and this is about teaching you guys. This is about when I do these videos, I try my best to, not just say, oh, this is what it is, but teaching you how to examine these things for yourself by giving you the correspondences of each of these. So when I go through this list, don't, just skip past it like, oh, yeah, I already knew that, or let's get to the bottom line here. It's important to know that, like, everything that I'm talking here is is extremely important and valuable information to know. So, let's get into it. So, first we have the moon. Moon, what does moon represent? It's the mind. It is the uh, thinking. It's the feeling mind, like the psychology. And you can say that the moon goes more with psychology than it does thinking, like 2 plus 2, or like doing mathematics or calculations. That's more of the intellect. And when I say the moon is the mind, I don't mean the intellect up here. I mean the heart mind. It's our feelings, it's our emotions, it's how we respond to things, it's our deep psychological blueprint about things and stuff like that. We were all brought up by our mothers and instilled with this uh, blueprint of how to think about the world and how to feel about it and things like that. And so, whether we're conscious or unconscious of these behaviors and these thoughts and these feelings, they still manifest for us. Carl, what is it? I forget the psychologist that um anyway, there was a psychologist that said, like, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and it will seem like fate. But it'll yeah, it'll seem like fate, but it'll rule your life. And so the lesson there is, like, to really dive into the unconscious mind, because when we harness that, when we understand that, and when we work with that, we can then turn that around like a Aikido move to use that energy against itself and create the things that we actually like and want in life. And like in life. And so, because a lot of times our unconscious mind is programmed to, give us bad things, or like make our life, hard, or things like that. So, um, anyhow, so the moon is the mind, it's the thinking, it's the feeling. Moon is also your mother, and moon corresponds to the fourth house and the house and the sign of Cancer. So fourth house in Cancer, and it's all those things, like motherly energy, real estate, things like that. And moon, it's really like the moon is essentially a reflection of the soul. So, you know, it can be, whatever your soul's like. For example, if someone is born during the full moon, like, they would have a like more connection to their soul. Or like, things would like they would have a more positive outlook on life. Um, all right, I think I'm getting too much into the weeds here, but we'll move on. So then we have next is Sagittarius, and as well as the ninth house. And these are very similar energies because Sagittarius is the ninth sign of the zodiac pertaining to the ninth house. So they go together nicely. And they have very similar energies. So Sagittarius ninth house is all about higher learning, education, philosophy, religion, like book learning, like in religion. So, for example, like meditation would be more 12th house things, actually connecting with the divine or your higher self or whatever you want to call it. But then ninth house things are like book learning or like academic studies or even religious learning through books, through literature and things like that. And so so Sagittarius is, the teacher. It's ninth house is teaching. It's philosophy. It's your guru, your mentor, your father, things like that. Uh, yeah, people oftentimes when they have strong ninth house placements, they'll find like a mentor, or if not like a guru, like a religious teacher or a spiritual teacher. So those are things about the ninth house and Sagittarius. Sagittarius ninth house also pertains to long distance travel, international travel, foreign languages, uh, like long distance learning, or going and being a student overseas or things like that, learning in different countries, pilgrimages, and going and visiting the temples, the mosques, the synagogues, and whatever, and doing like religious rituals and sacraments and things like that. Sagittarius ninth house pertains to Jupiter. So Jupiter, as we call him in Vedic astrology, is Guru. And Guru just means deep. It's deep knowledge, deep wisdom, the getting to the bottom of things, to the depth of things, the roots, the fundamental layers of things. That's Jupiter. As well as, so someone with like a strong Jupiter or a strong Sagittarius ninth house could, like, I would say if you had like Mars here or some other masculine fiery planet, you could probably be a bit of a religious extremist, or just have that fervor and passion and desire for religious learning or spiritual learning, and taking it to an extreme, whether that's preaching it or blowing yourself or things like that. You know what I'm saying? I hesitate to say that on YouTube, but you know, the people who go kaboom, yeah. So, um, what else? Um, so when we bring these elements together, it's very much the case where your thinking is very much philosophical. Jeez. And you know the mind is very geared towards education and higher learning, and teaching and things like that. So if you have this placement, you'll probably be like a teacher, a great teacher, or even someone who can like come up with philosophies on the mind, and like men, and you could become a great philosopher, or like someone who has like philosophies on mental illness, um or like things like that, in that area. And um just because like there's this mix between emotion and education, emotion and study, emotion and spirituality, emotion and ritual. And so that can lead to a lot of things, actually. Um, So I'll just like go off of what the moon represents now. So this tells me that your mother, moon represents mother. Your mother could have been very um well educated, or she could have been even a teacher. Um you know and so this is the relationship with your mother, is this, you know this teacher. She was always like teaching you, encouraging you to go after what you want in life, and pursue those things. And it's like, because Sagittarius, what is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is the person with the bow. He's taking shots. And you know so this means like aiming for your goals, having a straight, narrow-minded path. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just, this is my goal. This is my focus. It's like, this is the thing that I'm moving towards. Not to say that you're narrow-minded at all. People with displacement can be very open-minded and philosophical and taking in the world. Like, tells me that you would love to travel, the world, learn different languages, to experience different societies and cultures, experience different ways of life. So yeah, um, you know, moon is um it's about you know the feelings, and also it's like, as I hinted out before, like the state of the moon, where what its phases like. um it would be helpful to look at your chart, and or actually go look at a lunar phase calendar, and look at where the moon was, what phase the moon was at your time of birth. Because um uh the amount of sunlight and sunshine that the moon gets and is reflecting back to the earth, back to you, is basically, that's a reflection of your soul, as I said earlier. And it's interesting because, like, I feel like, you know I've seen multiple times that whenever someone has like a dark moon, like a meaning like a new moon, where it's just complete darkness, um, they tend to be prone to depression and things like that. And so, you know, depression can be prevalent when you have a darker moon. So, for example, if the sun is shining maybe 60% of its light, you'll have better a better outlook on life, or more positive mental attitude, or things like that. You'll be able to deal with life as it comes. Like, and nobody's perfect. We all have our depressed days, our down days, but um people with more sunlight on their moon will be you can I find, like, I always look at this when I do readings, and just kind of seeing how my clients react, and what their life is like, and things like that. When I see darker moons, I just like, yep, that figures. you know. Um, but when you have a yeah, so my how I kind of guesstimate this is like 60%. You have to look at if the sunlight is 60% plus or like 40% or below. If it's like in the middle range, 50-50, it tends to be like a pretty evened out kind of personality. Person can be, I wouldn't say at all bipolar, but they can go into their depressive days and have like really good days. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're bipolar or anything like that. It just means that like they're having like these two things that they're drawn to, or like that, so the duality there. And then, so let's say if you are, I do like let's say if you do have like a new moon, you were born on a new moon. I always find that it's funny that people with astrology like to look for the reasons to be a victim. Like, oh, I was born with this placement, this horrible sun, this horrible moon, this horrible Jupiter. Oh, things are, my life is crap and things aren't gonna get better and whatever. I'm like, dude, there's plenty of remedies for that, you know? So the remedy for the moon is mantras. Doing mantras. Um, so whether you want to do like Om Namah Shivaya or Ganesha mantras, Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha, or the Gayatri mantra, the Triambaka mantra, or whatever you want to do. Like, it's important that when we're having this mental difficulty, depression or anxiety or any kind of mental illness. And I'm not saying that this is like a cure all, but I know from experience that it'll help. It's helped me for sure. Um, but yeah, you know when you have those times when you're experiencing this difficulty with depression or mental illness or things like that, I find it really helpful to do a mantra. And so, that can be as simple as Om Namah Shivaya or whatever. And so, I often prescribe people mantras. In my readings, in my astrology readings, I give you your own personal mantra and ritual to do based on your own, your chart. I analyze it, I look at it, and I find the perfect mantra and ritual for you based on your chart, which is pretty damn cool, you know? So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website, get an astrology reading for me. I do not do anything for free. I do not do anything for, pro bono or like trade or anything like that. Like, that's just my own boundaries. So, go to gevotheshaman.com if you want to purchase a reading, as well as, I have my astrology certification course. And if you want to learn how to prescribe people mantras as well, or any, gain any kind of aspect of astrological learning, then you can go get that course. And yeah, it's a great course, and it has a lot of unique and valuable information in it. And I don't do the typical thing that every other astrologer does, teaching planetary placement. So what this means, what that means. I I really dive into like the, because you can learn that stuff online. Like I won't teach that in a course, or like, or at least not yet. I have something that I'm working on that's in the works that will go into that. But you can learn that stuff easily online. Um but my astrology course really dives into, this is the planet that wants to work with you on a monetary level. This is the planet that wants to work with you on a spiritual level, on achieving your dharma, on, fulfilling your desires and things like that, and even into like the Aruda Lugna, like how you your appearance in the world, how people see you, and the energy that you're giving off, and things like that. So it's really a great resource that not many people take advantage of. I mean, I wish I was getting readings every day because that's what I love to do. But you know, that's life, I suppose. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for dropping in and watching this video. But that's all I got for today. So you guys have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you next time. Peace. Take care, guys.